here. Wendy, Curran, are you here?
Hi, we're here. Great to join us.
Okay. So let's start. We do all this talking about our competition just to precise some details about our artistic way of thinking where we do our collection in our art park. So, and also about some organization details, about plan. And if you will have some question, you can write it in our chat here. It will be easy. And so I think we will finish in 1 hour this discussion, maybe less. So Ivan will talk about all these things because he has more fluent English than mine. Let's start.
Hi, nice to meet everyone here. So we are talking about Maslenitsa. It's an event that during which in Russia we celebrate coming of spring. Traditionally in Russia we burn something down, some symbol, mostly symbol of winter. And we used this theme in our project that is more connected with contemporary architecture and contemporary art. And we construct different things and burn them down during a mass event when a lot of people come from Moscow mostly to the village of НИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ. So I hope most of the basic details are in the open call. So I would like to introduce some of our main core concepts and main things that we normally develop in our art park, which is called НИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ. So the art park appeared as a place where artists began to construct his, the artist is my father, Nikolai Pavlitsky. He began constructing things that we can call installation, or we can call pieces of conceptual architecture, because they're normally quite huge and they are all located in the beautiful, picturesque natural landscape. So we mostly call this Russian land art, which is not really land art, but for some reason this name sticks to us. And through 20 years, we have developed different things, like there are many more artists now doing different things, and there are different themes and so on. So we try to summarize it somehow to present it to other artists so they can think about it and maybe come with new ideas or new approaches. So I will name several of them, and I will try to give you some explanation. I hope it will work in English. I believe it will be quite hard for me. So first of all, we work with monumental art. And monumental art is designed to remind of some major event, like some major battle or major, I don't know, king being there or something like this. And nothing ever been in our village. So the difference is all about that our monuments are all about fantasies of the artist, as if some very serious thing happened in this place. And the mythology that appears from this concept is mostly the thing that we really encourage artists to bring and to produce for us. Why is it important for Maslenitsa and for this event? Because there are many, many questions of like, why are we burning exactly this thing? Is there some, is that a violent act against something? Is that, I don't know, something else? And all these questions should go into this mythology, and we should try to answer them somehow. Also, this mythology helps us create the whole event, because we will bring music, we will bring theatrical performance to it, and so on. And it's very nice that when we have some mythology behind the art piece. And yeah. Another theme that we work normally with is conceptual architecture. So it works like this. Architecture must have function, and if this function is deliberately by the artist removed, changed somehow, made abstract or something like this, in this moment, this architecture became art. And we have different kind of things in the park at the moment with this approach. But for Maslenitsa, we once had, for example, a bridge, but there was no river behind this bridge. So this bridge was built as an art piece in the middle of the field. And after we burned it down, COVID started, and all the bridges were burnt down between people, I mean, metaphorically. So it was some kind of a prediction. And you can see that I'm bringing mythology and legends to it. So this is exactly what we are looking for. Another theme that we work with is use of materials that are not used in economics. Materials that are normally easily harvested, easily recycled, and so on. This is very, very much important in Maslenitsa, because burning down something expensive is not appreciated by all people that will come and see the piece, because, well, easily understand, because people calculate how much money would it cost and so on. So what we normally use wooden pieces that don't go anywhere. So for example, the top of the tree that is too thin to be made to be used for planks or something like that. We use some wood that could be harvested from forest, because this wood doesn't go anywhere, and that normally it takes like 2 or 3 years for this kind of tree to redevelop fully. We used hay or grass, dried grass, to be burned as well, because we got quite a lot of grass that is not used for animals. So burning it down is a good solution. We also use, I don't know what's the word for it in English. Let me have a look quickly. I'm talking about a lot of designers use this palette. I don't know. No.
Европоддоны? Ты это имеешь в виду?
Pallet. Okay, pallet. So it's the thing that normally people use to transport goods on. We have several car factories around, and they receive quite a lot of pallets of unusual sizes. So they are not reusing them again. So they have to, I don't know, chop it down in pieces and, I don't know, throw somewhere away. Yeah, and they are giving them to us in quite massive amounts, and we use it because this is a very good source for fire. So this method we call use of I don't know, use of materials that are not expensive, that are easily reproducible by the nature itself, or that have nothing better than to be burned. What else? So another thing that is important for us is approach to fire as a co-author of this project. This is quite important to understand, that the piece that we're making is not the one that will be standing before we put fire on it. The piece that we're waiting from you to bring to us is the piece that will be in fire flames. Because quite often during open calls we receive applications where artists think about like an art piece, and what it happens afterwards, it doesn't matter. No, other way around. We want this to be burned beautifully, and it is fire sculpture, and how it will look before putting fire on it is not very important. It's quite important, but not so important as a lot of artists think about it. What else? Theatrical performance. We think, well, comparing to a classical museum where a painting doesn't really need any viewers, it works different way in NИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ, because everything works with the audience. And for Maslenitsa, it normally looks like first we are constructing this thing, and the construction itself is sometimes very beautiful and people come to see it. And afterwards we have the big event, and people from really like 4 hours drive in one way, and they have to 4 hours drive one way, 4 hours backwards. So they put quite a lot of effort, and they come in several thousands. They are all gathered together around the project and in a big circle, and they normally would like to see something happening before putting it on fire. So usually we had well, contemporary art performances for that. This year we are thinking more of more classical approach, I would say. So I would like to use words like ballet or opera or something like this, but these are just, you know, hints, not the final decision. But comparing it to what we were doing previously, I mean comparing it to classical contemporary art performance, where is like one artist running around naked in some very conceptual approach, where moving probably towards something with an orchestra performing live, and some, I don't know, dancers or performance creating big, massive theatrical performance around before putting it on fire. And so that's a theatrical approach to representing art piece. Yeah, I guess that's quite enough, I guess, for the concepts. Now I would like to talk about the technical part. So what is really important to understand is that, first of all, we're constructing a bonfire. This thing should really create big flames, and it should burn for at least several, I don't know, an hour, half an hour or an hour, at least. It shouldn't burn in seconds. So second thing you need to consider is that we are constructing this in, sometimes people provide crazy ideas. I'm talking about what normally we are doing and what normally is being proposed. So normally we are being proposed some big structure, and this big structure should be constructed by local people we work with for last 20 years. And everything, so we use quite simple and cheap construction techniques to bring the structures to 20 meters high or something like this. So my advice to everyone is think about your construction divided in cubes made of wooden sticks, I don't know, wooden logs that will be like 2 meters high, 2 meters width, 2 meters length. And if you think about this grid that will hold the structure, then we could easily put quite a lot of wooden material inside those cubes. So this will work as bonfire. Sometimes we will receive really crazy ideas like let's make I don't know, a sphere. So I don't know how to build a sphere that will be full of wooden materials. It will dissolve without some really crazy engineering approaches. Sometimes we receive like a very long column, and the question is how it's going to burn. It's going to fall apart in seconds. Sometimes we receive, and on a previous meeting with on Russian yesterday, there were quite a lot of questions about could we use paper? Yes, of course you can use paper, but you need to understand that this paper will stand underneath natural water like snow and rain for several weeks or months, and this will dissolve, and this will not be really properly burning during the event. Also, how can you provide a 20 meter structure with paper? So please consider two things. That first of all, we're creating a bonfire. It could be strange structures, it could be beautiful structures, but this is a bonfire. And second, this will be constructed in most of the situations by simple construction techniques. So please consider that we are not going to put any concrete or a lot of metal things into it, except normal fixation things like bolt joints and nails and so on. So that's basically it. Now I think Yulia can add something, or we can switch to questions if you have any.
Just all I want to talk about that we will build it in advance. We will start in autumn. So we want this sculpture to stay a long time in our park for our visitors to see it. So when you will think about the conception, think please about some story, legend about this object, why it stands for a long time before Maslenitsa, and how it collects the energy, how it collects some knowledges or some beautiful legend which we can also use in our PR of our event. So, and I don't know what to say. Area limitation. Что это, Вань, такое?
Well, we are building it in a quite large field. We are going to put Google Map for you to see. It's a very big field because of the fire. So we are using fields that are really flat, doesn't have any trees and so on. So I guess within our budget limitation, you're pretty much not going to use, so let's say you don't have area limitation, I would say. So the size of the space is like, I don't know, 300 meters on 300 meters or something like around that. We will bring the map so you can see it. Normally for this area and for this amount of people, we are producing art pieces that are at least 18 meters high. So the rest is normally about the budget and about the construction requirements for it to be stable. But this, of course, is the matter of artistic approach. Maybe you would produce something not really high, but maybe something using quite a lot of space. Okay.
How many people help to build? It will be enough for you to build it. Be sure.
Around 12 to 20 people normally participate in the construction.
What else? Construction duration. Это время строительства, да, Вань?
We normally have like 2 to 3 months for the construction.
So we want to start at September. So let's say at end of October we will finish. Can you help us to understand a little bit about of the culture of the people, villages around? If you was not in Russia before and you don't see and you don't have any imagination how it looks like, but it's quite we have 3 villages around us. And it's quite it's not so poor villages. In one village it called Zvizhye, there are 150 people living all year long. And in other villages it's only summer visitors. So it's people about 30 till 70 years old. Some of them have some animals, cows, chickens, ducks. So, что еще можно сказать про деревни наши?
This is like, well, it's really hard to explain the culture at the moment because it has many layers. It's traditional agricultural culture of Eastern Europe mixed with the latest Soviet culture that was brought but now finished, and now people are quite confused. They are still more in a conservative mode just because they're living in the nature, but they have this strange mixture of cultures in them. I guess we're more yeah, well, it's very vague. So for budget, it's quite it will be very problematic for you to calculate this. Because first of all, because you need to understand Russian market of materials, but also because we're using quite a lot of unusual materials and we're really asking artists to use them. And so what we really would appreciate if the concept would just try to stick to the idea that there will be quite a lot of wood inside, and if you could calculate how much cubic meters. There will be of that. And if you would just provide more information about how this is constructed, what materials and how much of this material is going to be used, we would be able to value this project. But yeah, this is a really tough question, especially for foreigner, because you don't know the prices in Russia, and it's 1 million rubles for the production, and it is basically the same amount as we previously used on previous projects. So you can have a look on previous projects and have an idea of the scale, I would say. This tradition started 15 years ago, something like this. And well,
no, it's connected to our all Russian traditional event. So
the Russian tradition started before Christianity.
Before Christian, yeah.
It's
We
the
connected
same
it.
tradition that is really all over the place.
We
There are quite a lot of events like this in all Europe.
So we connected it to contemporary art, and НИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ, it started in 2000, 20 years ago.
So how do we interact with the artist? So we would like to receive some concept and the idea how this concept could be constructed if there is something special about it. And we would like to see the concept, and we would like to try to understand what could be the mythology around this concept. And after that, we could value the project, and if it will win, we will contact the artist and we will start developing a construction project. The best approach to developing the construction project is to come to НИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ and work with the builders themselves to find the best solutions, depending on the specification of the materials and the technologies that we have. After that, we have the construction project and we start building. We can provide you photos during the construction phase, and basically just decide some smaller things. Well, it depends on the project. If the project requires quite a lot of artistic pieces to be checked out, so there probably going to be a requirement to be more involved somehow. We would like to develop the project till the end of September, I guess, so we can start building it straight afterwards. Any political censorship? Yeah, we approach this kind of thing. I would like to talk about it a little bit. So what is the problem with there? The problem is there that sometimes people do burning things down as a political act and as an act of violence. And what we think about it is that we don't really like this approach. Even though the real Russian tradition was to create some kind of symbol of winter, and sometimes this symbol was like a doll of a woman, and people were like tired of winter and looking forward to the spring, so they were burning it down. We don't really like this approach, because what we really think is that we are celebrating the fire, we are celebrating the warmth that is coming. So it's more of a symbol of sun rather than a violent act against something. So it's the answer in the conceptual part. In what about the political subject? So the political theme is that we're working in a public sphere. So this is not we're not working in the field of clean artistic experiments. So we understand that when it is, so we believe in use of public space as don't know how to say it in English, like a normalized public space. So if it's in public space, we should consider that there will be quite a lot of people coming there with different views about everything. And they will be coming with different levels of, I don't know, understanding things. So they're going to be kids, they're going to be villagers, grandmothers, very old ladies that don't really understand, you know, nuances of conceptual art. And at the same time, there will be quite a lot of artists, critics, and people really into art. So, and because this is a public space, we want this to be like normalized. So we want this to be more about, I don't know, some bigger concepts of humanity itself rather than contemporary political situation or something like this. So the censorship, of course, could happen if it will be linked to some subjects like political agenda, religious agenda, or I don't know, minorities agenda or something like this. And we are not really interested in those themes. We're more interested in themes that are connected, connecting living in nature with the global world like this. So we're really going deep into how we live, how people live around this place, with what is happening in the world itself. So this is probably the main structure of what we are interested in on a conceptual level, and we're not interested in discussing the current agenda of the latest, I don't know, year or several months, something like this. I don't know. I hope I answered your question. So there's no big censorship issues happening for us within our 20-year theme, but we're also not interested in the politics because we believe that we live in a utopian place called НИКОЛА-ЛЕНИВЕЦ, and we are really independent of what is happening around the world. So this is like our political agenda. The bonfire will start at the sunset, and the big fire should be happening during gray time when the darkness is coming. Okay, last questions. Anyone? So we are going to bring some more information about the location of the project. I think you will quite clearly see everything on the pictures of previous events and from Google, because there's basically nothing. It's just a big flat field. And we are waiting for your ideas. We are really looking forward to work with an international team because we believe this could bring something new to our project. So big hopes on you guys.
What are the submission requirements?
Concept, sketches, that's enough for us.
The budget, no?
Well, if you could bring us some details on how much of materials you're going to be using for this project, this would help us.
Yeah, specification and quantity of materials. So we record this Zoom and put the link on our landing of our competition. If it will be another questions, you can ask us in our email open call @nicolalenivets.ru, and we will answer you. So if there is no any other questions, let's say goodbye.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks. Ciao.
Bye.